Hey, it's Dan Harlan. I'm here with my friend Paul Richards, and you're going to show us a really kind of an interesting approach on any card that's chosen here. Is this a Mark Elsdon idea?
That's right. It's a Mark Elsdon idea.
And then you've taken this to something. What's the name of it?
Sure. It's called But Not Here.
But not here.
That's right.
I think that's a part that we probably shouldn't have said. No, it's okay. It'll come up later, and they'll see why.
Absolutely.
But you're going to show it to me.
Sure, absolutely.
Let's take a look at it.
I've made a prediction on a Post-it note, and we'll talk about that later. But right now, we want to focus on this. Just a deck of cards. I'm sure you're familiar with all of these guys already.
You bet.
You can give them a good mix if you want to. You can shuffle them up before the trick begins. It doesn't really matter. And in a moment, I'm going to randomly choose one of these cards, and you're just going to think of a card. The only thing that I ask is that the card you think of is a good contrast for whatever I happen to cut to. For example, if I cut to a black picture card, you'd think of a red number card. If I cut to a
black picture card, a red number
card. Number card, exactly. You'd be thinking of a black picture card. I'm just looking for contrast.
Okay.
Make sense? Okay. I'm going to commit myself now to one card. Whatever card I get now, this is mine. It'll be the 8 of diamonds. So you think of any card that's a good contrast?
Yep, got one.
Okay, now I'm committed to my card. What card are you thinking?
The Queen of Spades.
The Queen of Spades. I'm committed to my 8 of diamonds. But if you want to change your mind right at this moment, you can.
King of Clubs, and I'm not changing my mind again.
I wish you would have stayed with the other one. No, it doesn't matter. King of Clubs is what you want?
If somebody gives me a chance to change my mind, I usually do.
I don't blame you. I'm going to run through here, and I'm going to take out one card for myself. That was my card, my 8 of diamonds. And you said the King of Clubs was the final card.
Yeah.
I'm going to leave that right there. Now, I shuffled the cards. I randomly cut to a card. You simply thought of a card, and I told you before any of this began that I made a prediction on a Post-it note. For the first time, Dan, turn over that prediction.
All right.
Yep.
That's what you were saying. But not here.
But not here.
If it's not here, where is it?
Well, that would have been a good trick. And the truth is, I don't really like good tricks. I like great tricks.
Okay.
And that's why I made the prediction on a Post-it note, and I stuck it on the back of one card. Now, unfortunately, I missed by one because I stuck it on the 8 of diamonds. But lucky for me, I wrote the King of Clubs. And they can check this all out. They can examine it.
That's a great trick.
Thanks.
There you go. Now, it's cool because they really do get to think of any card in contrast to the one that you pick out there. And it's a different kind of a trick. It's got a different kind of a feel to it.
I actually like that about it. The vibe is a very different one. It's sort of you're building up to something, and then they turn this over, and there's this sort of surprise moment. And then I think it even gets stronger. Like they think, oh, this is just a joke. It's not really going to work out. But then it gets even stronger because the card that I already committed to before they ever thought of anything, and then in your case, you even change your mind. How could I possibly have the prediction for the card they thought of on that card?
Sure.
It just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, and you were saying before you can personalize that prediction.
You can, absolutely.
On that back of that 8 of diamonds, and it will, like let's say you're performing for an anniversary or birthday or whatever, and the person's name can be there.
Sure.
And say, Bob, happy birthday, and you thought of the King of Clubs.
Absolutely.
Whatever you wanted to say. You could personalize it for a corporate function or a trade show or something like that if you want to.
Absolutely. A company
name.
You could simply say, why does everybody from IBM choose the 2 of hearts? Whatever the card happens to be.
Exactly. And it really is, a free choice in contrast with the card that you get.
Absolutely.
That's the only limitation, is exactly what you see in the presentation.
It's that trick every time.
That's right. There isn't any other way that the trick goes, depending on what they name. It will always have that same ending. On the back of the card that he is cut to will be a Post-it note and the one that they named.
Sure.
Just whichever one they decide.
Sure.
Now, we should talk about practicality. It is very practical because it's all self-contained, but like a lot of these things, you could probably already tell that it's a dedicated effect, that this deck does that effect. So you have to decide, is this the effect that I want to do? And if it is, and it's a great effect, then you must have this deck to do it. And that's okay. We've got lots of things that are dedicated effects that are really, really nice, and this is another nice addition to it. What's kind of cool about it, though, and this is just something I always like to point out, is that the deck gets out of play. At least 50 cards of the deck are out of play before the actual revelation takes place here. So if you need to switch the deck, you can.
That's the perfect opportunity.
Yeah, you got it right there. So it's not a problem to be able to do it there. Getting into it, your deck is going to be prepared when you start, so you have to be aware of that. But it doesn't look like it. You can be very free, just like you were.
I would also point out that the deck, while there's a gaff in the deck, it's a limited bank of cards.
And that's what I was going to say.
So you could really have a card selected, do something with that card, and then get into that trick.
There's
Could be some limitations.
Maybe a quarter to a third that you have to keep in place, and that's about it. Yeah. So there's a lot of the stock that you can use for other things, and that's of course up to you. It's your decision if you want to do that. Resetting though is not immediate. But it's pretty easy.
Yeah, I mean, in fact, if I was going to reset it, now I would never do this in front of the spectators, but the truth of the matter is, I put this card back inside the deck, I take this card, put it back here, I'm ready to go.
And that's it.
That's it.
So and actually, that's not really that bad to do.
You could do it in front
of people
if you had
as you're getting ready for something else, handouts, whatever else you're going to be going into. So, it's one of those effects that. If that appeals to you, it's kind of a mix of mentalism.
Sure.
You know? There's a couple of moments in it, a couple of surprises that happen. I love it. I think it's a really great effect. But you have to decide if that's the kind of effect that you want to do, and then that is the way to do it.
Sure.
I don't think that you're going to accomplish it in much of any other way. So it's a really, really kind of a nice way to do this particular trick.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, cool. All right, thanks for showing me.
No problem, Dan. Thank you.
Awesome.
Hi, I'm Paul Richards, the producer of Mark Elsdon's But Not Here. This is a strange, wonderful piece of weirdness in which you predict a spectator's selected card under really impossible conditions. You send them down a path, and then you hit them with a shovel because they're going to get a surprise ending that they do not see coming. I think you're going to love But Not Here as much as I do. Check it out.